Unbanking the Bank, fourth version of the 78th generation completely decentralized blockchain with no need for blocks or chains. Introducing Punisher Coin. Who gives up? Second pre-sale round with your property only. Crowd sale for only 0.0006% of the supply. SAFs required. No KYC, just KY. We just rebranded. Punisher Coin is now FOMO Coin. Check out the roadmap. Sale ends tomorrow. Every day.
Shut up and take my money.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today is Saturday. Hope you're having an awesome weekend. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. We have a lot to go over today. I'm going to try to keep it as quick as possible, but you definitely want to check this out because we have seen some altcoins popping off. This morning we had XRP up. Ethereum looks like it's really trying to break out of resistance. Bitcoin alone is at a very critical level. So I think things could get pretty exciting within the next few days, possibly even within the next 24 hours. So we're going to keep our eyes on that for sure. Also want to talk about a Bitcoin hater who recently came out and admitted to actually owning some Bitcoin. Also, what about Trump's Fed pick, Judy Shelton, talking about maybe we should go back onto some kind of a standard, right? That's pretty interesting. She mentions gold, but at the same time also mentions digital. So are they hinting at Bitcoin? Are we going to end up going on a Bitcoin standard in USA? I mean, most likely not, but we're definitely going to check that video out as well. Also, we have the SEC that is currently looking to crack down on tracking these different Bitcoin and Ethereum and other blockchain transactions. And one other study that came out about Generation Z saying that they don't have interest in Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies. So we're definitely going to get into all that today. And if that sounds interesting, well, you know what to do. Also, if you're brand new to the channel, we do this every single day. So if you are not subscribed, honestly, you're missing out at this point, honestly. So having a look at what is going on, it is a nice, beautiful green day, and yeah, we will take it. So let's have a look at what is going on in the markets. Let's give this a quick refresh live. So yeah, there you go. Bitcoin dominance is up yet again. So Bitcoin dominance is up 0.2%. Overall market cap, $329 billion. So having a look at the big gainers today, Quant is still up from yesterday, having a slight pullback. Walton Chain, Waves just shot right up. Solve, Elastos, Monero, Theta, Engine Coin, Knowles, and we do have a few other ones as well. So that is looking pretty good. Now you can see over here on Bybit, XRP definitely pumped. It's had a little bit of a pullback, but anyone that was able to, get in on a long, well, kudos. You probably made some pretty decent gains this morning, so that was pretty cool. For everyone out there that is doing, scalp trades on Bybit and stuff like that. But here's what we need to talk about. We need to talk about what's going on with Bitcoin because as you could see right here, we came down, we touched the 200 exponential moving average, instantly we're rebounded, and now currently we're finding ourselves in a few interesting patterns that I want to talk about. The first one is this wedge right here. You could see we have this sort of uptrend and we're looking to break out of this resistance. Now, if we do break out of this resistance and get above, we kind of need to get above this sort of $12,366 level, then that could actually be very bullish for Bitcoin and we could be looking to go a lot higher. Now, if we do fall back down into the channel, I would expect us to bounce around in here for just a little bit, potentially probably around July 11th, but like I said, Bitcoin most likely is going to break out before then. So I'm going to be watching this very closely, guys. If we fall lower than that, I believe we probably will be supported by the 200 exponential. But if we fall below that, you'll notice there's a giant wedge that we formed, which actually looks like it's ending sometime around July 17th. So what we may be entering is a accumulation stage. In fact, someone that you're very familiar with, who I'm going to have on in just a second, would probably agree with that, right? Now, having a look at another perspective, you'll notice that this, which was our support back here in the around the end of June, has now currently become our resistance. So I really think to sort of also show that bullish momentum, we would want to break out of this, or we might just be forming another ascending, broadening wedge. It's a little too early to tell, but it would be nice to get above that moving forward, right? Another perspective, because there's a lot of different ways you can look at this, so we can also break out. Now, some people are saying this is like a head and shoulders pattern. You guys know I don't play those on this channel. They just They don't really work with crypto. I don't know why, but if you're looking to do that, then you can kind of pull this down a little lower. You can look at potential, a neckline. And, if we were to break above this, then this would be good. And even if we were to, once again, like I said, hit around this $12,000, $400, $500 level, then there's a potential chance we may bounce around here a little bit longer until we have that breakout, right? So that's what we're going to keep our eyes on. I also want to talk about the fact that if we look at the volume overall, it's obviously rising, right? You can see right here, we have volume increasing, but the Bitcoin dominance is currently at around 65.27%, and it's been slowly increasing and increasing and increasing. So I don't see a reason why the Bitcoin dominance would start falling currently. In fact, a lot of people are saying that they don't think it's going to fall until we do hit that 20K Bitcoin, where we basically match the all-time high again. And that is a possibility, because if we look at what happened in 2017, we didn't really see altcoins have massive rallies until after Bitcoin had hit its all-time high, right? So if we were to hit it again, we might see something similar moving forward. So does this mean that, the altcoins are dead? No, guys, it doesn't mean that. It just means that, once again, it's probably going to be based more fundamentally than technically when it comes to a lot of the altcoins. Some of the top altcoins like Ethereum, possibly TA will work, but I think we're going to need, good news coming out, like what we heard from Quant or Walton or, Chainlink and stuff like that. So I think it's going to be a little bit more fundamentally driven. But you can see right here this morning, Ethereum was trying to break out of this resistance that we've had. We attempted to break out of it June 29th and 30th, also back on the 3rd, and again today. So if Ethereum is able to break out of this and maintain above, once again, getting probably for Ethereum higher than $310, then I would say that we would be going a lot higher. So the thing you can kind of notice, though, is all of these cryptos have almost the same pattern, right? We're not really seeing that decoupling right now that we've seen Bitcoin do compared to the altcoins throughout the course of this year, right? So I would like to see a little bit more of that moving forward, but also, super quick, just talking about Ethereum, one of the reasons why some people are saying that Ethereum might pump is that they are looking to reduce their issuance by 10x within the next 2 years. We are trying to switch from proof of work to proof of stake. So I just wanted to point that out. But the thing that you need to keep in mind is that if you look at this data from Longhash, they say that 67% of all cryptocurrencies are still down 99% from their all-time high. In fact, among the 169 assets listed on Messari's on-chain FX, they basically have 114 that are still down 90%. So for some of these altcoins, there may never be a recovery, and I don't want to be the guy to say that, but it just really feels like unless we have some absolute fundamentally driven news or developments, I don't think that the technicals alone are going to be what drives the altcoins up. Personally, I just don't think this is going to be the same type of a bull market that we saw back in 2017. Now, talking about what Mike Novogratz had said, everyone was like, well, he sold at 14, so does this mean he's bearish? No, he's not bearish at all. In fact, he does think that we may potentially be entering a consolidation period, and as we've looked on the chart plenty of time before, we are entering the reaccumulation stage, right? We've seen that multiple times. We've looked at the halvening charts, but I just want to play you really quick this little clip, and you could see exactly what Mike Novogratz had to say in response to him selling some Bitcoin.
I trade a portion of my core Bitcoin position all the time. I don't think I'm selling the next time up to 14,000. I think, the next time we get up there, or the second time we get up there, it's probably closer to 20,000. And so I don't expect that in the next few weeks. Quite frankly, I probably don't expect it towards the middle to the end of the fourth quarter. And I think we're going to see this, like I say, a kind of a period of consolidation.
So there you go. See, he says a period of consolidation, and I think that's a great thing because you don't want to just have a parabolic run up straight to the moon. That's not good. That's not healthy, because when that does happen, well, you get things like this, which is a 30% retracement. So there you go. But volatility is great for the traders, so, you don't see them complaining. But I did want to point out that, as the Pomp pointed out, Peter Schiff, he's like the leader of the gold bugs, right? Recently admitted that he actually does own some Bitcoin. So he says, never listen to what they say, always watch what they do with their money. And somebody actually pointed out, you can see right here, that he does accept Bitcoin for his services on his website. So that has to stand for something, right? Now, the interesting thing I wanted to point out here is if we go down, you could see this is his address. He said, Pomp was like, I'll send you $100 worth of Bitcoin. And, the sad thing is that people are actually sending this dude Bitcoin. You could see he's had 100 transactions, 0.19 Bitcoin. Let's see if he's gotten any more since it's been live. No, that's pretty much where it topped out. So yeah, that's over like $2,000 that people just gave Peter Schiff. So please don't send any Bitcoin to Peter Schiff. He's, obviously, I don't know. If you want to send some Bitcoin, send it to somebody that, that really needs it, not this guy, right? So that was what I wanted to point out. But also, so check this out. Judy Shelton says that we need to return to some type of a standard. She hints at potentially the gold standard, but I want you to listen carefully how she mentions that we're going into a digital era. I'm not saying that we're going to go on a Bitcoin standard, but you have to admit this is kind of a fun thing to entertain. So check this out.
Or at least we need to be thinking in terms of a neutral reference point, a global unit of account. I mean, something like a gold standard even updated to reflect a digital world and fast-moving financial flows.
A digital world. So some people are like, could they be hinting at Bitcoin? I mean, most likely not, but that was just something to point out. Also, before we get into the SEC story, I just want to talk about something pretty funny. So people are buying or the people that own certain domains, they are actually linking it to Craig Wright's Wikipedia page, for example, like loser.com. If we go to loser.com, that takes you to Craig Wright, you see? So the SEC is getting ever more serious about blockchain data, while many of the world's governments and politicians focus on Facebook's recently introduced Libra and data sharing among virtual asset providers. So the SEC is looking at public blockchains. They say the Bitcoin and Ethereum blockchain are absolutely mandatory, while they're also looking at Bitcoin Cash, Stellar, Zcash, EOS, Neo, and XRP as well. In addition, as new blockchains gain increased prominence, the SEC would require support for them. The SEC is seeking full blockchain data for the Genesis block or inception and information about any derivatives, currencies, and essentially they're talking about tokens affiliated with these blockchains. So I guess that would, considering 90% of the tokens are issued on Ethereum, well, that might be something they would look into, right? And now currently, I wonder with Binance and their BEP2 standard, if they would be one to get added to the list as well. So they say, if possible, the SEC also seeks further metadata and chain metrics such as hashing algorithms, hashing power, mining difficulty, and rewards, transactions, quantity, and size, coin supply, and block size. So Gen Z hates crypto. Is this true? Well, it looks like they did a poll right here, and it says about 53% of them say that they're not at all likely to buy cryptocurrency in the next 6 months. Now, do you guys mind if I just entertain this for a second? Now, keep in mind that if you are a Generation Z, individual, that means that you're under the age of 25. Okay. So I don't know if I have anyone that is that young that watches the channel. If you are, let me know, drop a comment below. I'd love to say hello to you because you're definitely probably one of the smarter individuals. But I will say that when I was a kid, when I was younger, like when I was 22, 23, 24, I didn't care about making money or anything like that. All I wanted to do is party, and like buy cool clothes and skateboard and hang out with my friends. And I didn't have any care in the world really. So, to expect, people currently, Generation Z, right now, as of today's day, to care about cryptocurrencies. Who cared about stocks? And, why don't we ask them about real estate? Do they care about real estate? Do they care about, bonds and stuff like that? No. So I'm not really surprised. I think this is just one of those fun articles to entertain, but why don't we come back in 10 years and then ask them what they're interested in, right? Because let's be real, when we were young, what were we interested in, right? So I just wanted to point that out. Good news moving forward. Sina Finance, which is a finance-focused website owned by China's major tech company Sina Corp, has added a crypto index into its mobile wallet. So this is very good news moving forward. I do have a little bit of a scare, okay? I just want to let you guys know. It looks like there's a little bit of an issue, apparently, with Trezor. So it says a compact electrical board with around $100 was designed to extract the master seed from the wallet within 5 minutes. This board can be connected to any computer with a simple USB cable. Now, granted, this would involve somebody actually having your device and being able to get into it. is this Ledger or, yeah, Trezor? I think somebody was saying something about Keep Key too, but you can see right here, actually I might as well just play the video while I'm reading this. But they said the research team noted that users can prevent such attacks by adopting proper mitigation measures. This includes setting a long and complicated passphrase, making brute force attempts significantly more difficult. But you know what you could do? You could just buy a Ledger, which is what I use over here. So yeah, you can see over here, look at this. Look how quick that they were able to extract the seed phrases. Boom. Deceased, tall, cliff, cube, heart, obscure, where, ship, pair, heavy, world, tornado, cable. Wow, that's pretty scary, guys. So definitely be careful with that. Like I said, I use Ledger. I've never had a problem with it. So definitely check that out. And before we go, does this not pretty much sum up everything? I mean, I was just thinking to myself, back when Bitcoin was 3K, I remember the sentiment. I remember everybody was saying it's going to go lower. They wouldn't buy. And that's when we were all dollar cost averaging on the channel over here, having that opportunity. I mean, anybody that was able to get a long in down there, congratulations. I personally didn't. I wish I had been looking to do that back then, but I was just more looking to just accumulate at that time. But that being said, you got to realize that the previous highs eventually will look very low on the chart. And what we saw back in 2017 is just going to be another little blip. So, don't get caught on the wrong side of the fence. We all know where this space is going. Dollar cost averaging is your best friend, not financial advice. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you found value out of it, definitely smash the like, subscribe. You guys know I do this every single day. Not really a lot of crazy news to talk about. I got to be honest with you. It's a little boring in the markets right now, but it looks like Bitcoin is slowly creeping up out over here, and it looks like Ethereum is also doing the same as well. So we're going to be keeping our eyes on this. It looks like some of these coins could potentially be popping off very soon. We'll keep our eyes on it. How's XRP doing? Oh, look at that. It's going back up, guys. See? So there you go. Nice day in crypto. Thank you for stopping by the channel. I do appreciate your support. Anyone that wants to definitely use the referral links below helps the channel. Doesn't cost you anything extra, but I do not expect that from you guys. Just simply stopping by, saying what up, joining the absolutely free Telegram community, which is an amazing place to just go, stop by, talk about all things crypto. And of course, we do give the Ledger Nano S away every single Monday. That being said, that's the end of my video. That's right, I'm making a short video today. So what do you think about that?